Hi, Tom back again with another video in our series on Photoshop, and those that missed the session in last night's Photoshop class, I'll just run through a video showing what we did. Now there are some new videos, some new images, I beg your pardon, I put in the student drive, so you probably, if you weren't there last night, you probably won't have this image that we were working on, but I'm going to double click and open it in Photoshop. That was in Bridge, I was looking there. It doesn't really matter if you've got an image of a face of some kind, of someone that you can use, then you'd be able to apply the same things that I'm doing here. So what happens here is when this opens up, we get a new layer which we need to duplicate. And we looked at a number of ways of duplicating the layer. There's the contextual menu, there's right clicking to duplicate layer, or just dragging the layer over the little new layer icon there, and it comes up with a duplicate copy. Then immediately what we did next was we went up to image, adjustments, and we inverted it. Notice there's a Control-I is the way of inverting it with the keyboard shortcut, or Command-I if you're on a Mac, and that creates this kind of effect. The next thing we did was we switched the blend mode into color dodge, and then it looks as if we've got nothing there, and then we went up to the filters, and we went to blur and went to Gaussian blur, and I'll just move this dialog box out of the way a little bit, and you can see there's a faint image there. As we shift the radius more to the right, you can see that we get more and more detail coming in there. So I'll leave it at maybe 41.5 there. That looks pretty good to me. And then I should have said in the beginning what we're trying to do here is create a black and white image to use. The next thing we did then was now we've got the blur, we wanted to make this look like it's black and white, so I just made an adjustment layer, a black and white adjustment layer, clicked on there, and of course when you've got those sliders there, you can move these sliders around to vary how the black and white is rendering from the color. So there we go, we've got the adjustment layer there, and we were pretty happy with that at that point, but we decided to do a couple of other things there. So next we did, I held down the Alt key on the keyboard, Option if you're on a Mac, and then went to the contextual menu here. Now I better just bring this layers panel up so you can see this better. So I'm holding down the Alt key, holding down the contextual menu, and I went to Merge Visible. And what that's going to do is going to create a new layer that combines all those layers we had previously. I'll just put that layer panel back there. So if I switch the visibility of these off, you can see that we've got this new layer that has everything in it we want. The next thing we did was I switched the visibility of that off, switched the visibility of the bottom one on, and made sure I selected. It's important you make sure you select that background layer, and then we did a quick selection of her hat, because there wasn't much detail in the hat, so to put some detail back into the hat again, I just did a quick selection, and it's not real critical here. Then switched the visibility of that off, switched our black and white one back on again, and selected the black and white layer. Went to get my brush, chose a kind of darkish color, so I've got my brush selected. I'm holding down the Alt key, Option if you're on a Mac, and then choosing one of the kind of darker areas here. With the Alt key held down, it brings up my eyedropper, and I can choose the color for the foreground color. I'll use that one. I made the brush slightly bigger. I made sure my brush had 0% hardness. I changed the opacity of the brush slightly to around the 20 mark somewhere, and then I just painted in a bit of detail back into the hat again. And the more I paint there, it actually keeps on adding to whatever I put in there. And that might do us for that. So I'll just go Control D to deselect, or select, deselect. And now we've got a bit of detail in the hat. And the final thing I did was I went up to the filter menu. Now I hope I can see this in here. So I went to the filter gallery, one of the difficulties in making these videos is you can't see the whole thing. And okay, I'll just cancel this for a sec. I need to make sure my foreground color is selected here as a darker color. And in fact, I think this filter gallery is using the background color as well. So I'll get this one and make this a light gray. So that's just changing the background and foreground colors to gray colors. We'll go to the filter gallery and go to and I'll choose something here. Now again, you're not really seeing this properly. I'll just see if I can minimize this a little bit, because it's not going to show up in the video, unfortunately. Okay, I'll change the size of this window so that we can actually see what's going on here. Okay, here we are with the filter gallery in position. Now I've got graphic pen selected here now, and we can't see anything there because it's so large, but if I reduce my the percentage of the zoom there, you can see that it's starting to get this kind of effect with the graphic pen, which could be quite an attractive effect. Now unfortunately, that's also putting, you can see that effect there, it's also putting that dark gray in the background. So I'll just undo that. I'll go here to change my background color to white, and then redo that filter again. So I'll go to filter gallery, and this time I'm just going to apply this without mucking around. It'll take a second to apply, and you can see now it's got quite a nice effect with that graphic pen idea. So it looks a bit more like a drawing. Okay, that'll do for that video.